Hey, how's it going? This is Ian Robinson, howtotravelandwork.com. It's a collaborative effort with all the travel people that I know from around the world trying to talk about how to get out there. Travel, if you don't have enough money, you have to work too. The working's not as much fun as the traveling, but it all is a good, awesome balance. And today what I want to be talking about is fruit picking in Australia specifically. When I first went to Australia, I was initially just thinking that I was going to pick fruit because I knew that I heard stories about people saving money and being able to travel. And then, I'm from the United States, so when I went to Australia and then I got a job picking fruit, I was able to save up a bunch of money. And then once you're there, you're only like a $300-400 flight to Southeast Asia. You can fly from Sydney or Brisbane to Singapore for about $700, and then you can get all around Southeast Asia and to India for sometimes less than $100 flight for one-way trips. So the opportunity to save money and then go travel longer, and then you're also traveling and experiencing new cultures and meeting new awesome people and things while you're in the process of working. So it's just a really awesome balance. The way that you want to do it is when you land in Australia, the best way to get work on your own and be self-sustainable is to buy a van and buy one that you can sleep in. I bought a van and it became my home for a few months while I lived out in the high country, like picking apples. And my van, I was able to sleep in it. It's waterproof, it's windproof. You can pick up and move and go wherever you want. You save all sorts of money on transportation at any time. It just makes it so that living in Australia is possible because the living expenses in Australia are really far too high for you to be staying in hostels or definitely not hotels. Especially if you're going at it with the fruit picking route. Once you get your van, you want to do some other things. I've got a list that you'll see down below that has like a checklist of everything you want to do to make sure that you get a good van and that it's legal to drive on the roads. And then your next step is to find a job. So what you want to do is go to Harvest Trail, and that's the website for the. It's sort of like the Australian government's guide to traveling and traveling for the harvest season. And it's a really cool booklet. You can pick it up from various locations, or there's a website that I'll link to below. And they have the times of all the harvests in all the different areas. So you can travel around Australia for a year. You can see the whole country, and you won't have to worry about anything because you're just following the harvests wherever they go. So whenever you're going there, you just want to look up the Harvest Trail, and then you figure out the towns that have a lot of work. It's really good to call ahead because sometimes you can call ahead and find out that something happened, like there's floods. Agriculture work's really seasonal, and it's also dependent on the conditions. So if it's a really dry time, they might not think that it's the best idea to be picking fruit at the time, or if it's too wet, they're definitely not going to pick apples. And there's all sorts of things like that. But you can just basically get an idea of where possibly to go, call ahead, talk to work agencies, and then you'll be good to figure it out. And then once you do that, you just go out there. I recommend that when you get to the different places, you want to make sure that you get some sacrificial clothes like long sleeve shirts, and I just picked those up from like op shops for like $2. Op shops, it's like what we call thrift stores or whatever. So you pick up just clothes that you really don't care if they get destroyed, because when you're working out there, everything that you wear is going to get destroyed. You want to make sure you have like a real good pair of shoes. If you're going to be working in sort of wet conditions, it might be a good idea to get a pair of gum boots. And that's pretty much it. In all the Australian towns I went to, there were libraries where you could use the internet, and then you could also rent books. And one of the huge things that helped me out a lot is I had a cell phone. I got a cell phone that I was able to listen to the radio, and then I also had my iPod, so I'd load up iTunes and listen to podcasts. So, because the hardest thing about the agricultural work is just that it's really, really mind-numbing. You spend hours out there just doing the same task over and over again. And it's just great because if you can zone out and listen to something that you're interested in, it really keeps your mind going. And it's like self-development along the way because you get to spend all the time studying the things that you like. That's pretty much it. When you're out there, make sure to just save your money and think about where you're going. Helps a lot. I'd say the last thing and the most important thing is to set sort of a goal so that when you finally do get a bunch of cash, like you have a goal of where you're trying to go. So, after you have $1,000, it's easy to just, go off and travel some more in Australia. But if you say, like, I want to be able to travel in Southeast Asia for a year after this, it can make it so that you can, tough it out and work a few more months, and then you can get a few $1,000s, and then you can travel all around. And you really open up options. And so that's the best advice that I have for growing and picking fruit in Australia. This is howtotravelandwork.com. Thanks for visiting.